At YouTube land, it's Rear Parts Hunter here. Got a new master cylinder from 1994 GMC Jimmy, or a new remand. I'm not sure with this being dormant if it is a remanufactured unit or a new unit. Wind's blowing some stuff around. I keep stepping on stuff. Anyways, yeah, outdoor bench. Hasn't been covered up in 2 years, still works. Needs a little bit of cleanup, but anyways, bench bleeding it anymore. They don't send you the ones that have the they're drilled all the way through with the barb with the hoses that go in there. They tell you just to use something. I use the handle of the screwdriver, the rounded plastic end, to push on the plunger. The rounded plastic end of the screwdriver will not hurt the plunger. They also tell you these days to tap on this. You can see tapping on that front of that, I get little micro bubbles that are coming out of there. And yes, this is brand new brake fluid. The little specks are out of the brake fluid, I think, or dust floating in the air. I do that and I get these little micro bubbles out. And when you're bench bleeding a master cylinder, never mind if it pukes a little bit out that plastic plug, because it always will. They will never, ever seal tight enough. You will strip the threads off those before you ever get them sealed tight. You're only supposed to tighten those by hand. That's also why you do it someplace where you can clean up or you don't care about the fluid spill. I'll spray this down with some brake cleaner later. Okay, so I've done it a few times. Let's see if I can get it to do it here. Gotta apply enough pressure and hold the camera at the same time, which is kind of hard to do one-handed. And so yeah, it's not full stroke and it's shooting out now, out the back reservoir. I'm holding that in. That is not in an inch. They say don't go more than an inch and don't bottom the piston out. People are probably shoving the piston all the way in continuously and slamming it in there when that's probably not going to happen installed in the vehicle. It probably doesn't push it in that far, even with full pedal travel. And I did fill it up a little bit more than that. It sucked some fluid in, which is good because that means it released air. Still getting air out of the front one. I'm going to let it sit for a few minutes with the cap on it, tap on it more with the plastic end of the screwdriver, and I'm hitting it across where like the flats are there. So I'm not putting the point of the handle on there in any one spot. Don't want to crack the aluminum housing. Like I said, I'll give it a few minutes with the cap on so wind doesn't blow anything in there. This is the original master cylinder on here, and the original reservoir. And I chose to get one that has a reservoir because sometimes you go change a 25-year-old reservoir and the plastic will fail. And this one here, it's all wet because I sprayed it down. It's leaking internally into the brake booster. There were no external drips, and I started losing brake pressure, and it got real bad to the point it was not safe to operate anymore. So I went ahead, came out here, could not find any drips. Noticed the bottom of the master cylinder was wet, cleaned it off, filled up the reservoirs, waited for it to dry, and then pumped the brakes up, and came back out and looked, and the bottom of the booster was wet again, which means the fluid's coming out between the master cylinder and the booster, filling up the booster little cavity, and then running down the bottom of the booster. That happens. The seals inside go bad in these things, and it's the brake fluid's running down the shaft inside there, and that happens at this age. I sprayed everything out to eat faster. My biggest concern are these bleeders in the aluminum ABS unit. So you can see all these lines here are original. I already broke this free on the master cylinder with my Matco 1314 flare wrench I bought at a pawn shop for $2, and you can't beat that. Yeah, USA tool for $2. You know, if it were to fail, I could find a Matco tool rep. I'm sure they would replace it for free. Most of the major tool reps or tool companies will do that for you, even if you did not buy it from them new. I was recording the whole time. Okay, folks, so this thing was recording in my pocket. I'm going to try to edit this video if it'll let me again. Anyways, new one's on. I need to clean the engine compartment, brake clean. I got some brake fluid out of the lines. I didn't take the old one off until I had the new one bled and ready to put in place. Now on these trucks, the thing that is a little bit problematic at times is the little metal, steel bracket that goes around both studs for the ABS unit. Or no, I'm sorry, not the ABS unit, proportioning valve. Excuse me there. Proportioning valve. You can see the aluminum proportioning valve that has the brake light in it, or the sensor for the brake light, I should say. That there on these trucks, when you go to pop it off, you usually take a flat blade screwdriver and just, like that one I used to bleed everything with, and you pop the bracket off in front of the studs by a couple inches, and when you go to put it back on, sometimes it doesn't want to go back on and you have to just pop it over a little bit with a screwdriver, which I did. I didn't take the caps out of the new master cylinder until it was sitting over the studs with the nuts in place and the metal bracket there. Then I did my lines. I had to tweak my lines a little bit to get them to align properly, and also the threads are cut deeper in this than they were than the original master cylinder. Not an issue. They are as tight as the factory lines I removed, not any tighter. They are steel nuts in a aluminum case. If you over torque them, you risk the threat of either collapsing the mounting surface and them loosening up, or worse than that, in my opinion, if you go ahead and you over torque them, you can pull the threads out, which is a real danger. Or you can over torque them and you can crack the aluminum where it's threaded. Yes, or you can crack the casting. Yeah, that's why you don't want to go stupid tight on stuff that's not supposed to be over torqued. You can see on this truck here, since we're under here, you can see the overspray on that rubber. You can see that there. That's where the original hood, or another hood that was on here, hit the cowl panel, slightly deforming it there. And the body shop that repaired it, they may have dabbed some paint on there, but they didn't repaint it. The paint's cracked. It's from the instant where the hood hit it. This hood's not the original hood. These fenders aren't the original fenders. It's not the original grill, not the original core support. Now, I believe they went to the dealer and bought the decals for the core support because it has the correct decals on it. Either that, or they got a used one for a 94 Jimmy. Either way, it's alright. But I need a core support and fenders, and the hood. Somebody sat on the hood and it's bowed down right in the center. I can live with it though, but the fenders I need to replace. They are getting bad. They're letting go at the bottom. They are, and every place, this had the plastic wheel well molding, so every place the screws went through for the wheel well molding is where it rotted out. The inner fender, the inner fenders are okay. So it wasn't just from the road salt, it was from not being undercoated and rusting where the screws went through. There was no sort of paint or protection on the screws, and you have a stainless steel screw and a steel fender, and road salt gets in there and there's plastic over it holding the moisture in here. Whole flange rots out, and both fenders are like that. think I might have a body mount on the cab that's going out too, but the door, these doors here, the spray pattern, and the doors is from driving in the wintertime, and the salt we use here in Ohio, the road spray getting up and hitting the doors, it causes the bottom of the seam to rot out. Surprisingly, the rocker panels are not completely gone, but I think they're going out from what I remember. I'm not going to crawl down on the ground at the minute, but the door bottoms are gone. The passenger side door is starting to whistle air through it. And finding good original GM sheet metal for one of these is near impossible. A lot of the ones that are in salvage yards have replacement front end ends, and they're already destroyed. They all look as bad as this one. If you find fenders that are in better shape, chances are they are replacements. That's all for now, YouTube land.